right? We were able to develop up to here, and we have to develop now this part. This is the part we have to develop. That is our main section. Okay, so let's try to develop this. Let's wrap this part, and then we will learn about the form element in HTML, like how to create your login page, registration page. That part we will see. So if you want to create this kind of content, if I go to my code back, okay. So this is the code what we have written. If you remember yesterday what we did, we created one container. For example, let's suppose this is our browser. Let's suppose this is our browser. Inside this browser, first of all, we have taken one div element. Okay, we have taken one div element as a container. Now this div element, we divided into two parts, right? This element we have divided into two parts, nothing but two sections like this. First section will occupy 20% height. It's a 20% height. And next section occupies 80% height. 80% height. Here we have designed our image. Basically, we have designed our header part. So for that, we have just added here one image like this. And two buttons. Here's two buttons we have added. Okay, some two buttons we have added here. This is what we have done in the last session. Now what we have to do in this session, in this main section, here I need to display that first content. After that, I need to display here some more content like this. This is what we have to design. And whatever content we are displaying here, it should be exactly in the center of this second section. It should be exactly in the center of second section. So we want something like this. So this content, we want exactly in the center of that second section, main section. Okay, so how we can get this kind of section? So for that, what we will do, I will copy this content first of all. I will go to my main section. Okay, if you remember inside the body, first we have main div here. Inside that main div, we have two sections, header section and main section. Now inside this main section, I am taking h1 tag. Okay, in that h1 tag, I am adding that content. Now to show this content, I will take two paragraph tag. I will copy this. I will take one paragraph tag. I will add here. Here simply I will assign one ID, something like title 1 or subtitle 1, something like that. Subtitle 1. In the same way, I will take one more paragraph. I will assign the ID, something like subtitle, something like 2. And in that, I will paste this content, second content. I will paste here. Okay. Now, if I go back to my browser, it looks something like this now. We got that content here. Okay, now content is in the black color. That is the reason it is not visible on the screen. So let's try to make the content color as a white. So what I will do, I will go to this main section, this div, and I will add the color property. This is our main section. To this main section, I will add the color property as a white. So let's see whether we will get that white color or not. Now our content is in the white color. Now we want this content exactly in the center here. We don't want on the left top. We want exactly in the center. If you see now, this content is displaying here. Currently, the content, this three content, whatever we want to design, it is displaying here on the top left like this. But we don't want on the top left. We want exactly in the center here. So if you want exactly in the center, what we will do? Simply this main section, we will make as a display flex container. We will convert this div into a flex container. So how to convert that div into a flex container? Using display property. Display flex. Now, if you make this main section as a display flex, if you make this as a flex container, then direct children of this are called flex items. Now we can move our flex items into 9 positions, right? If you remember the flex concept. Now I want exactly in the center. If I want exactly in the center, then I can configure justify content property as a center and align item as a center. Now if I save it, if I go back here, I should get my content in the exactly center. But why my content is getting like this? I want one after another, but they are one beside another. Why we got our content one beside another instead of one after another? My question is why we got this content one beside another? Because by default, flex direction value will be row, right? By default, the flex direction row will flex direction property value will be row. That is the reason all your flex items are displayed in row. Okay, so we want one after another. We want one after another. So what we can do? Simply here we can add flex direction and we can say column. If you say column, they will display one after another. But if you see, this content looks very small, right? Compared to our UI. Now this content size looks very big, but our H1 element size looks little small compared to our requirement. So I want to increase the size of this content. If I want to increase the size of this content, what I can do? I can select my H1 here. And I can assign the property called font size and just give some value. I'm giving here something like 55 pixel. Okay, some value I am giving. Now, if you go back here, now we got that size. We got here something like 55 pixel. Okay, but if you see, the space between this content and this content looks very little space. It looks very little space, but in our UI, the space is so much. We have so much space here. Now this space is because of, by default, we know that browser will add some margin to H1, right? So I want to remove that margin. So what I will do here, simply I will make margin 0. If I make margin 0 for my H1, my space will be reduced. Now see, my space got reduced. Okay. Now if you see, the space between this content and this content is this much. And here also we have this much space. So let's try to increase the size of this paragraphs also. So I will select the paragraph. I will increase the font size. Maybe something to 23 pixel. If I say 23 pixel, both the content looks like this. But here if you see, the first content size is little bit more compared to second content. Both are paragraph, but this paragraph font size is little bigger compared to this paragraph content. It means we have to give unique font size for this paragraph and for this paragraph. We have to give unique font size. Okay, so what we will do, let's try to give some unique font size. So to give unique font size, we will select this first paragraph. Nothing but we will select this first paragraph here using its ID value. Somewhere here I will select it. Hash subtitle 1. And here I will add font size as a 28 pixel. Something like 28 pixel. If I save it, if I go back here, I got this size now. Okay, for this, I will try to add something like maybe 23 pixel. Instead of 25, I will add 23. Font size should be 23. Okay, now they both require different font size property. That is the reason I have given the ID to them, and I am selecting both the paragraph using ID so that I can give unique font size values to them. Here 28 pixel, here 23 pixel. Okay, now I don't require this property. So let me remove this part. If I go back here, see, I got something like this. But still, if you see, this space looks so much, right? It looks so much. And if you see here, we have less space. Here also and here also we have little less space. But here it looks so much space. Now again, that space is because of your margin property only. As I have told you, by default for your paragraph element also, your browser will add some margin to your paragraph element too. So I want to remove that margin. So what I will do, for both the paragraph, I will make margin as a 0. If I make 0, let's see how it looks. It looks something like this. Now there is no space between these two paragraphs and this H1 and paragraph. But I just want to keep some space. So what I will do, I will add some custom value. Instead of adding 0, I will add my own custom value. Maybe something like 12 pixel. If I add 12 pixel, I will get some space. I got some space here. Maybe I will try 13. Yeah, 13 is fine. So like this, based on your requirements, sometimes you might have to remove the default styles. You have to add the custom styles. Sometimes you might have to add your own values. So depending upon requirement, you have to change the styles. So the main intention of learning this CSS is just to understand, okay, this property will give this style, this property will give this style. This is what we are going to learn in the CSS. Now, based on requirement, as an engineer, as a software engineer or a front-end engineer, we have to decide to get this particular requirement, which CSS properties I need to use. And what should be the values I should configure for those properties. As a front-end engineer, you need to decide which HTML elements you need to use to get the structure in required format. Okay, this is what the work of a front-end engineer. It's very similar to doctors, right? So when you go for your when you go to your doctor, he will ask you the symptoms, right? What are the symptoms you are getting? Now, when you tell your symptoms, then he will analyze, okay, for these symptoms, what should be the tablets he should assign to you, or what should be the treatment he should give you. So he's going to analyze his knowledge. And that too, depending upon the intensity of our symptoms, they are going to assign the tablets, right? Like how much cold, fever you have. According to that, they will assign the tablets. If you go to medical, he will not ask anything. You have to just say, I have a cold, I have a fever, he will give the tablet. Now, medical people will not be able to analyze like what extent cold you have, what extent fever you have. They are not going to analyze. They are just going to give you the tablet. But when you go to doctor, they are going to analyze it. Exactly what extent of fever you have. According to that, what tablet should be suggested and what NG tablet should be suggested. Similar to that, we are the front-end engineers. We will get a requirement. Okay, we want this kind of design. Now we have to decide, okay, which element I need to use, which CSS property I need to use, so that I will get this kind of styles. Now, if you are able to do this thing, it means you are a front-end engineer. That's it. Are you guys understanding what will be your role if you get the job as a front-end engineer? So in your real time, what they will do, they will give you just a design. They will say you, okay, this is the design I want. They will just create some design. Like this, they will show you the design. And they will say, we want something like this. Now, when they show you the design, as a front-end developer, you have to decide to get this kind of user interface. What are HTML elements you have to use? What are the CSS properties you need to use? And how you will be able to decide if you know that, okay, these are the elements, these are the CSS properties present in that technology. If you don't explore, then you will not be able to guess. If you are not able to guess, then you are not a front-end engineer. So a lot of people will have that doubts, right? What kind of work we will get once we enter into IT industry? What kind of requirement we will get? So they will be like very confused. The people who are very freshers. Okay, even when I was fresher, even I used to get confused. Like why I am learning HTML, why I am learning CSS, JavaScript. like what kind of work I will get. So at initial stage, we will not have that clarity. But once you start working, once you start learning the things, once you start building the projects, okay, this is how you have to build the projects. You have to learn something, build something, learn something, build something. Now, in this way, you will get practice, you will get experience, and you will be habituated with the concepts. Okay. Yeah. So here, now we are able to build this small Netflix. Now, if you remember, in last few sessions, maybe from last, this is our 14th session, right? In this 14 sessions, we are able to build all this user interface, right? So let me show. So we were able to build this card. Right? In the same way, we were able to build this portfolio. And we were able to build this resume, right? Basic resume. So these are the 4 things what we have built. So are you guys confident? Can you guys build this kind of very basic user interfaces? Okay, portfolio, what remaining part was your assignment, right? I was expecting from you guys to complete remaining part. How many of you completed the remaining part? And how many of you tried but not able to complete? Yeah, I'm sure that everybody will be able to complete. Everybody will be able to complete. Now, do you feel this is very easy now? Now, do you feel building this kind of user interface is very easy? Okay, if I just open our Ashok IT website. Okay, if I just open the Ashok IT website. Now, do you think that you will be able to build this kind of user interface? At least this part. Okay, let me just go step by step. Can you guys build only this part? This part. Okay, you know how to create this kind of button? Just you need to know how to add this icon, right? So let me show you how to add this icon. Okay. So to add this icon, what we can do, we can take the help of something called Bootstrap. We can take the help of something called Bootstrap. Just go to this website, getbootstrap.com. Go to the website called getbootstrap.com. Here you will have some links. There is a link called icons. Click on this icon. Once you click on this icon link, just scroll down a little bit. Okay, scroll down at the end. Scroll down at the end. Here you will find something called CDN. You will find something called CDN at the bottom. Copy this link. Copy this link. After copying that link, just paste that link. Paste that link in your head section. So inside your head section, you can paste that link. Remember, inside the head section, you have to paste. Don't paste inside the styles. Outside the style, you have to paste. Just paste inside the head section. Now again, go back to that website. Okay, just scroll up. You will find so many icons here. You will find so many icons. Okay. So here you can search any icon here. So if I just scroll up, you will find one search box here. There is one search box. You can search any icon here. For example, I can search Facebook. Now see so many icons we are getting here. Suppose you want to use this icon, you want to use this Facebook icon, just click on that icon. And here you will find one tag. You will find one tag. Just copy this tag. Just copy this tag. And go and paste in your website. Wherever you want to show that icon, just paste that. Maybe I want to show somewhere here. Let's suppose inside this button I want to show. Here, sign in button is there, right? Before this sign in, I want to show that icon. I will just paste that. Now save it. If you go back to your browser, now see, you got that Facebook. You got Facebook icon here, see? Now in the same way, suppose you want something else, just go back and just search here. Whatever icon you want, you search here. Maybe something like lock. So here you will get some lock icons. Just search whatever icon you required. Maybe this icon we required. Click on this. Okay, just copy this tag, come and paste here. Come and paste here. You will get that icon. Now see, we got that icon. Okay, now you can add like this. These are the free icons which you can use from the Bootstrap. So Bootstrap provides us so many icons. You can utilize these icons. So here you will get all the types of icons. Just you have to search it. You have to just search it. You will get all the types of icons here. Okay. So see, by seeing this, you will be easily able to design now. Now you will be able to design like this inside the button. Can you add any icon? The way we have added here. I also added icon here on the Ashok IT channel. Also, they have added the icon. Now you can add like these icons. Okay. Now if you see, if I keep my cursor, this WhatsApp icon is rotating, right? If I keep my cursor on this YouTube icon, this YouTube is rotating, right? That is because of one more property called transform. There is something called transform property in CSS. So in coming sessions, we are going to learn that. So once I show that, you will be able to design this functionality. But at least you know, right, how to bring this is image. Okay, if you just right click, you will get this copy image address. You can paste that image. Okay, this is just an image. So can you create this kind of user interface? Okay, what you need to do, you have to just create one container. Like this container. Inside that, again, you have to create 2 sub containers. Like this sub container, you can make it one container and you can make it another container. In that container, you can add all the icons. Here you can add image. Here you can display on the left. Here you can display on the right. You know how to display. You know how to display on the left. You know how to display on the right. Right? So see, now by seeing the requirement, are you guys getting idea? By seeing the requirement only, you guys are getting the ideas, right? How to create. You can create this kind of user interface also. Okay, leave about this functionality. This is because of JavaScript. Like if I keep icon, here we are getting option, right? This is because of JavaScript. I will show this part in the JavaScript, but at least you can create this part. Okay, you will be able to create this part at least. All these are links. All these are links. Okay, add some blue color background and just You have to bring that entire content in the center. That's it. Okay. So like this, slowly, we will develop all this part. Okay. So I'm just showing you by seeing any user interface. Now you will be able to develop. Can you develop like these cards? Or maybe something like this. Okay. Can you develop like this at least? I hope you guys can develop this part. Okay, so here what you need to do, again the same thing, you have to create one container. Okay, divide into two parts. Like this. Nothing but two columns. In this column you add image, here you add content. That's it. Okay, so we will develop this kind of user interface once I teach you guys that grid concept. Using grid, we will try to develop this part. Okay. Okay. Now, can we link all this? Now, if you see here, here we have this portfolio, right? In this portfolio, we have this nav bar, right? I want to add this nav bar, this particular nav bar in all the pages. Here also I want to add, and here also I want to add. This nav bar only this nav bar I want to add. So what can I do? I can go back to that portfolio. Here we have created that nav bar, right? This header part. This my portfolio, 4 links like this. So this section I will copy as it is. I will copy as it is. Okay. I will go and add inside this Netflix. So in Netflix, it doesn't look good, but let me add here. Header, title, nav items, something like this. Okay. And let me add the styles also. Whatever styles we have designed. Maybe header, title, nav item, H2, and this anchor tag. So I will copy this. I will add here. So we have header, right? Both might collide, but I think here I have taken ID, so it should work. So let's see how it works, how it looks. Now it looks something like this here. Okay. Now here also I want to add. So what I will do, same CSS I will add in this resume also. Here I will take style. I will add that part. Same thing, I will go to the card. Here also I will add. I will copy this header part. I will add that header part in resume. I will add inside card also. Maybe somewhere here I will add. And anyways, portfolio we have. Save. Now if I go back, it looks something like this. Here also we got. Here also we got. Here also we got. Here also we got. Here I just need to add that body tag. This is in the resume. So in resume, I will select body. I will say margin 0. Okay, now why I am adding this nav bar in all the pages? Just to link all these things now. I want to link all these pages now. Okay, I want to consider this as a home page. This as a home page I want to consider. or let me just change the title names here. Here I will add something like portfolio. Here maybe something like Netflix. Okay. Here maybe we will add profile, and here something like resume. Here something like portfolio.html. Here Netflix, and here I can add card, and here resume. Okay, I'm just linking all those. Now I will copy this part. Now I will add in all this anchor tags. I will just paste here. Resume, card, now portfolio. Okay, I'm just linking all those pages now. That's it. Now if I go back here, okay, if I close all this, now from here I can go to the portfolio, I can go to the Netflix, I can go to the profile, I can go to the resume. Okay, here instead of my portfolio, I can just add my first site. My first site. Now this H2 I will copy in all the places. Now see, here for resume, can we do one thing? In this we have written all this code, right? All this code I will copy. Okay, here we have two body tags. Here we should have only one body tag. Here I will just add one div. In that I will paste all that code. And simply I will add some padding here. Style, padding, something like 20 pixel. Okay, we got some space here. Maybe 30 I will try. That's it. Okay, now we got one basic site where we are able to develop so many things. Okay, and we are able to link all our pages also. So this is what in real time you will be doing. You will be developing like these pages. Okay, few pages will be developed by you, few pages will be developed by your teammates. Then at the end, all those pages you are going to integrate. You are going to integrate. Finally, your website will be created. Finally, your website will be created. So here first we developed this part. Then we developed this part. Then we were able to develop this part. Then we were able to develop Netflix part. And now we are able to integrate all. We are able to integrate all. Okay. So this is how we have to develop the websites. Now we have done with some part of CSS. Now we know few topics of HTML. And you are good with few topics of CSS. Are you guys comfortable with all the topics, whatever I have covered till now? Or anyone have any kind of doubts or any kind of confusion? in any one of the topic that I have covered? All concepts are clear till now, whatever we have covered. Okay, so till now, as per your experience, like whatever you have felt, or if you want to give any kind of feedback, you guys feel free to give the feedback, guys. Okay, I'm just sharing the form. Feel free to give feedback. If you guys already given the feedback, then no need to give. In case if you haven't given the feedback, then try to give the feedback. Okay, this will help us to make to know exactly how you guys are taking the sessions. Do we require any kind of improvement from our end? Okay, feel free to give your genuine feedback. No need to give only good feedback or bad feedback. Whatever you felt, you just give that feedback. And already if you have added the feedback, no need to add second time. It's okay. One time is enough. Videos I will tell you, okay? Just focus on what topic I have covered till now. Slowly, there are so many things we have to learn. We will be learning those things. How to upload videos, all those we are going to see. Sachin, that will you will understand only by practice. When you start doing practice, then by seeing the requirement, you will come to know exactly which concept you need to use. So whenever you get a requirement, whatever comes in your mind, try to apply that and just check whether it is meeting your requirement or not. If it is not meeting with your requirement, use another concept. If it is not meeting, use another concept till you match with your requirement. Okay, great. Now we will come back to our HTML topic. We will try to focus on forms concept. Anybody knows what is forms? What is forms? Yeah. So basically forms are nothing but they are just a user interface. Basically form is a user interface. Using this user interface, we are going to take the data of users. We take the data of users. Okay. Why do we create forms? We create forms to take or to access the data of users, to get the data of some users. Suppose there is a user. Now you want the details of that user, like you want to know his name, you want to know his phone number, email ID. Then what you will do, you will create one form and you will give that form to him. Now he will fill all the details in that form and he will submit that data, and that data you will receive. So here we are going to learn how to create forms. Forms like you can create login form, you can create registration form, you can create sign up form, sign in form, you can create feedback form, you can create online exam form. We can create online exam form. You can create one online exam where you can assign some questions, where you can assign some 4 options to the students, and you can create an exam also. You can create basically online exam. So like this, we can create different forms. Now to create like this different forms, our HTML is providing us one form element. It is providing us one form element. And this form element internally contains some sub elements. It contains some sub elements. Sub elements like it contains something called input element. It contains text box element. It contains select element. Okay, it contains data list element. So like this, we have so many sub elements which are under form elements. Form element is like a container. It is like a container for all these elements. And using these sub elements, we can create text boxes, we can create radio buttons, we can create text area, we can create drop down button. Okay, you can create something called file option where you can upload the file. So many things you can do using these form elements. So first, let's see how can we create one input box. Nothing but how can we create one text box where user can enter some details here, where user can enter some details. Where user can enter some details. Now to create like this text box, our HTML is providing us one tag and the name of that tag is input tag, and that input tag comes under input element. So using this input element, we can create a text box where a user can enter some data, And this input element is going to provide us only one tag, that is input tag. The name of that tag is input tag. And input tag is a self-closing tag. It is a self-closing tag. So we don't have anything like opening tag or closing tag. It is a self-closing tag. Okay. Now, if I go back here, if I create here something called form.html. Now, let me close all these files. Here, I am creating a basic document. Now, inside this body, I want to create one text box. So, to create text box, I am taking one div here. To this div, I will add one class as a container. And I just want to add some styles. So I will take style tag, select this container, and I'm just adding some basic styles like width, I will say 300 pixel, height, something like 200 pixel, text align center. Inside this div, I am taking one h2. And here simply I am saying like input element. Now, after this h2, I want to create one text box. So to create one text box, first we will use form tag because this is like a container. Inside this form tag, inside this form element, we will utilize the input element. Input, that's it. If you use like this input element, one text box will be created. Now, if I save it, if I open this document in my browser, now see here we got one text box. Now here I can enter some data. Now let me add one box shadow. Here box shadow, something like 0, 0, 10 pixel black. And let me add some padding. Maybe something like 20 pixel. So it looks something like this now. So here height is so much. Let me reduce 100 pixel. Yeah. And let me increase the width to 5. Yeah. So we got here input element. Okay. Fine. Now here let me add margin. From top bottom I want maybe something like 50 pixel and auto. It will be in the center. Okay, we just created one input element, nothing but one text box where we can enter some data. Now this input element will take lot of attributes. Okay, this input element takes lot of attributes. One of the attribute is type. One of the attribute is type. Using this type attribute, we can create different types of text boxes. We can create different types of text boxes. Different types means we can create password text box. We can create email text box. We can create phone text box. Okay, like this, we can create different types of text boxes. So by default, the value of this type attribute will be text. This is the default value. Okay, apart from this text value, we can give another value like password. If you give password, then it will create one password text box. If you enter any content in that text box, that content will not be visible. It will be hidden. That is called password text box. So let me show you. Here simply I will say input type equals to text. Okay, here I will add type equals to text. Now in the same way, I will create one more div. Here I will say type as a password. Here also I will add type value as a password. Now just check the difference between these two text boxes. I created two divs. In first div, input element type value is text. In second div, input element type value is password. If I go back to my browser, two text boxes are created. Now here if I enter some data, this data is visible. If I enter some data here, now data is not visible. So this is normal text box. This is password text box. This is normal text box. This is password text box. How you are able to create both the text boxes? Using this type value. Understood? Did you understood? How to create text boxes, how to create password text box, how to create input text box, normal text box. Yeah. Can I create one button using this input element? Using this input element, we can create one button also. The type should be button. Simply you have to give type as a button. If you give type as a button, it will create one button. If you observe here, one button is created. Okay, let me just do one thing. To get that scroll bar, I will select body tag. I will add some height here. Okay, just for temporary purpose, I will add some height here so that I will get that scroll bar here. I will get this scroll bar. Now see here, I got button. See, but on this button, I want some data like login button or register button or sign in or sign up like that. So what I will do, to this input element, I will add one more attribute called value. And the value, whatever you want the content on that button, that content you add as a value. Suppose here if I am adding login, now it will create login button. If I take one more input element, if I give here register, it will create register. So you can create button using button tag also. You can create button using input tag also. If you are using input tag, then type value should be button. Type value should be button. Okay. Now you know how to create buttons. You know how to create password text box. You know how to create normal text box. So can you guys create now login form? Will you be able to create one login form now? Can you guys create one login form like this? Here you can add two text boxes, normal text box, password text box, and here login button. and one registration button. Will you be able to create this kind of user interface? Right? You will be able to create. Now suppose if I take multiple input box like this. Okay, if you see here, I got multiple text boxes here. I got one text box, I got one more text box. Now, if I give like this text box to you, if I give this text box to you, will you guys able to understand what you need to enter here? If I show you like this text boxes, and if I ask you enter your name and phone number, if I ask you to enter your name and phone number, will you get confused where to add name, where to add phone number? Okay, now according to our understanding, few people will add the name here, few people will add the number here. What few people will do? Few people will add number here, few people will add name here, because here you haven't given any information to the user which data where to add. You just created two text boxes and you are telling to the user to add. Now I want to give some hint. I want to give some hint to the user. Okay, here you have to enter name. Here you have to enter phone number. I want to give some hint. So if you want to give some hint to the user in that text boxes, then what we can do, we can take the help of one more attribute. We can take the help of one more attribute, and that attribute is placeholder. Something called placeholder. Using placeholder attribute, we can give some hint to the user what he need to enter in that text box. So here, if I go back placeholder, I can say enter name. Here I will add placeholder. I will say enter phone number. Now, if I give this text box, will user understands what he need to enter and exactly where name to be entered and where phone number to be entered? Got it? Okay, this is the placeholder. Now, sometimes you might have seen in a lot of websites that whenever you open that website, by default in your text box, you will see some content here. Whenever you open text box, by default, you will see some content here. Maybe you will see your name only like this. So by default, if you want to show some content, not hint, you want to show some content in your text box, then how we can show some content means here we can add value attribute and we can add here some content. For example, I'm adding Sagar. Now, whenever you show this text box on the screen, by default, in that text box, this Sagar will be added. So if I go back here, now see by default, Sagar is added. This is the content. This is the hint. Here, if you keep cursor and if you add one character, that hint will be removed. Here, if you want to add new content, you have to remove this existing content first. Then you can add your new content. Okay, so value is an attribute which shows what content to be added in that text box. So if you want to add some content in that text box, then we have to use this value attribute. And if your type is button, then this value attribute will add some content on that button. Here also same thing, right? Value attribute is adding this content in that text box. Okay, value you have to use if you want to show some content in the text box. Placeholder you have to use if you want to show some hint to the user. So placeholder is not a data, but value is a data. Okay. So placeholder is not a data. It is just a hint to the user, but value is a data. This is the actual data. If you want to add some new data, you have to remove that existing data first. You have to remove this existing data. Then only you can add the new data here. And if you refresh, by default, you will get that data. Okay. Yeah, guys, just have the patience. Whatever I am teaching, focus on that. I am teaching you guys about A, B. You guys are asking about X, Y. So I don't think it makes any sense, right, to ask about X, Y when I'm teaching A, B. Okay, there are a lot of people who already have the knowledge, so you guys have to keep little bit patience. So while I am teaching about AB, ask any doubts related to AB. Don't ask about XY, right? I am teaching you guys about placeholder and value. And you guys are asking me something else. You are asking me about name attribute. I did not teach you what is name attribute. Okay, so I cannot teach entire HTML in one day. You cannot learn in one day. So let's go step by step. If you already know, just listen it. Maybe you might learn some new things, or else if you know already everything, then just have little patience. Okay. So you guys understood, right? How to create password text box, how to create input text box, how to create buttons. And I hope you guys understood about these three attributes: type, placeholder, and value. Okay. So like this, we have so many values. We have some more values for this type attributes. Apart from text and password, we have some more values and we have some more attributes. Okay. We will explore those values and attributes in next session. Okay. In next session, that is tomorrow. So we will wind up this forms topic by tomorrow, and then we will explore iframe concept. After iframe, there are some HTML semantic elements. Okay, and we have some like HTML marquee element. So we will discuss all this. We will wind up HTML. Then again, we will come back to the CSS. And we will learn some advanced concepts of CSS like positions. Okay, we will learn about box model. We have something like transform, animations, grid. Okay, we have something like transition, media queries, position, box model, transform, animations, grid, this box model, media queries. Yeah, these are the topics which are pending in CSS. We will cover all these topics. And once we have done with these topics, then I will start with JavaScript. Okay, and in the JavaScript, I'm going to teach you guys from basics to complete advanced level. Okay. Few videos I will just provide you as a recorded videos. Okay, few videos I will provide you some recorded videos. There will be some topics which will be recorded because it's very difficult to complete entire JavaScript. So already I have recorded few videos that I will provide you. But we will cover all the basic and advanced level. It means once you learn advanced JavaScript here, you need not to go to any other sessions to attend the JavaScript. You will be able to clear all the interviews of JavaScript. Okay. So we will cover from basics to advanced level. All the topics we will cover. And once you learn JavaScript, then you have the choice to select. I mean, if you want to move towards Angular, you guys can move towards Angular. If you want to learn Angular, you have to learn Angular. But before you learn Angular, you have to learn something called TypeScript. And whenever you join for any Angular session, they are going to teach the TypeScript and then they will teach Angular. Or else you can go towards React.js. Or else if you want to learn Vue, you can learn Vue.js also. Okay, you can choose anyone. So I would recommend to choose anyone, learn anyone perfectly, whether it's Angular, React or Vue, whatever you select, learn anyone perfectly. After learning one, then go for another. If you are interested to learn, then go for another. Okay, if you learn all three, there is nothing wrong. If you learn any one, there is nothing wrong. Okay, but learning all the three might create confusion at initial stage. So better to learn any one, better to get the job on that technology, work in real time on that technology. Once you are habituated with that technology, then explore another part. Like suppose you learned React. Now you got job, you are working on React. Now you worked for 6 months. Then slowly you explore Angular, learn Angular or learn Vue. That's your choice. Like depending upon the demand, you just learn it. Okay. So all these three have good demand in the market as of now. As of now, all these three have a good demand in the market. So in all these three, that's completely your choice. Just analyze, just talk with your seniors, talk with your brothers, sisters who are working in the IT industry. Ask them which technology has good demand. Go for that. Learn that, get the job, and then remaining things you guys can explore. Yeah. So if you learn any one, learning other two will be very easy. Very, very easy. You can learn by yourself also. That's true. If you learn any one, learning other technologies will be very easy. Yeah. Yes. Once you know JavaScript, you can start learning the backend also. That is Node.js. You can start learning the Node.js also. Node.js, Express.js. Okay. Once you know JavaScript, you can start learning the backend patterns. You can start parallelly, you can start learning MongoDB also. MongoDB is your database. MongoDB is your database. Okay, once you know JavaScript, once you know advanced and basics concepts of JavaScript, you can learn all this parallelly now. Okay, you can learn all this. So all the doors will open for you guys. So this is backend, this is database, this is front-end frameworks and libraries. Angular and Vue.js both are framework. React.js is a library. Node.js is an environment. Express.js is a framework of Node.js. Express is a framework of Node.js. If you want to learn Express.js, you should know Node.js. Okay, if you know JavaScript, you can learn MongoDB also. Parallelly, you can start learning MongoDB. Okay, they are backend technologies. They are alternate to your Spring Boot. Whatever your Spring Boot is doing, same thing you can do with Node.js, Express.js. Whatever your PHP is doing, DJango, whatever you can do with Django, same thing you can do with Node.js, Express.js. They are just the backend technologies. You can create backend application using Node and Express. They are just alternate to your Spring Boot, alternate to your ASP.NET MVC, alternate to your Django, alternate to your Laravel of PHP, like that. Now, if you know all these technologies, let's assume you know MongoDB, you know Node.js, Express.js, you know React. Then you guys are called MERN stack developer. Or you guys can be called JavaScript full stack developer. or you are like React developer, Node developer, JavaScript developer. Like this, different terms we have in the market. You can apply for all these roles. Suppose you know MongoDB, Node Express, you know TypeScript and Angular. Let's suppose you know Angular, you know Node Express, you know MongoDB. Then you are called mean stack developer. Mean stack developer or JavaScript full stack developer or Node developer, JavaScript developer, Angular developer, like that roles you can apply. If you know Vue, if you know Node Express, you know MongoDB, then you are called Maven stack developer. Maven stack developer. Now, if you compare these three, Maven stack, mean stack, Mern stack, which technology is changing? If you compare Maven, mean, Mern, which technology is changing? Only front-end technology is changing. M stands for MongoDB, E stands for Express.js, V stands for Vue.js, N stands for Node.js. Here also, M stands for MongoDB, E for Express, A for Angular, N for Node. Here also same thing, only R for React. R for React. So using these technologies, if you are able to develop web application, entire web application, then you are called full stack developer or Mern stack, mean stack, Maven stack. That's it. And what do you mean by UI full stack? UI full stack means same thing, just you have different term here. So in market, you will see the term UI full stack. This is just a term. So this UI full stack is like a general term which you can use for all these stacks. So in the UI full stack, they might teach you Mern, they might teach you mean, or they might teach you Maven, or they might teach you all. They might teach you all. Again, that depends upon platform to platform. So whenever you are joining any UI full stack, make sure you just go through their syllabus first. First check what they are teaching in that UI full stack. Then you will get the idea whether you are learning Mern stack, mean stack, or Mern plus mean, or Maven, like that. You will get that idea. What is Java full stack? Java full stack. In Java full stack, instead of Node.js, Express.js, you will learn Java language, and you will learn Spring Boot, JDBC, Servlet, and JSP. And anyways, JDBC, Servlet, JSP are outdated. All these are outdated. But to understand Spring, you should have the knowledge on all this. In your industry, you will never work on JDBC, Servlet, and JSP. Nowadays, no one works. Everybody will work on Spring Boot or Spring. But to understand Spring, you should have the knowledge on all this. You should have knowledge. That is the reason they are teaching all this. Then they will teach Spring and Spring Boot. And in the database, instead of MongoDB, you guys will learn Oracle. That's it. And in front end, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap are common. Apart from that, you will learn Angular or React. Then you are called Java full stack. Instead of Node.js, Express.js, you will learn this. Instead of MongoDB, you will learn Oracle. Now, who are called .NET full stack? In .NET full stack, instead of Java, Spring Boot, all this, they will learn ASP, C#. They will learn ASP.NET MVC. And as a database, they will focus on SQL Server. Now, if you learn SQL Server, C#, ASP, .NET, MVC, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, Angular, or React, then you are called .NET full stack. Same with Django, this Python also. If you learn Python and Django, and as in the database, if you learn MySQL, right? I think actual MySQL they will teach, right? In Python full stack. So if you know MySQL, Python, Django, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular, or React, or Vue, then you are called Python full stack. Now, are you guys getting what is UI full stack? What is Java full stack? What is SQL? .NET full stack, Python full stack. Whatever full stack you take, front end you have to learn. In all this full stack, common technologies are HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. These are common for everyone. Apart from this, you can learn React, or you can learn Angular, or you have to learn Vue. Yeah, all that microservices, everything comes under this only, your backend. So in Node Express also, you will learn microservices are just architecture. It is just architecture. Okay, it's not a technology. But these are common, right? These are mandatory in all this stack. And out of this three, you have to learn any one. Okay. So as per my knowledge, React has more demand in the market. React has very good demand in the market. Then Angular, then Vue. This is my opinion. Now you guys can go through LinkedIn, you guys can go through Naukris, and you can just find out which technology has more demand, which you are aligned. According to that, you have to learn. Yeah. So without Hibernate, you can learn Spring Boot easily. Okay, they will have some module, right, in that Spring JPA, which is just alternate to your Hibernate. Okay, so there is no difference between button tag and input tag. Just they are providing us two ways to create buttons. They are just providing us two ways to create buttons. You can create buttons using button tag or input type equals to button. Yeah. So this is the knowledge I just given, extra knowledge, because a lot of people have the confusion, right? What is full stack? What is UI? What is Java? What is .NET? So they will get confused. So that is the only reason I just explained this part, because a lot of people were asking about this. Yeah. So let's learn remaining things in tomorrow's session, guys. Okay. I will push this code. Just go through this code, practice all the properties, whatever we have learned, because going forward, again, you will get confused. So better to learn everything